Hitting it. All right, back Roast and Toast Baseball Radio, episode 11. For sure, that's episode 11. I know it for a fact. Um,
Not a math pod.
yeah, not a math pod. We're gonna start out going right into the National League as a whole. The standings don't look so great right now. So, what do we expect out of the NL the rest of the season? Where do you think the teams are going to end up? What are your wild card picks as at the moment? Who's going to sell? Yeah.
Personally, I think it's gonna be a 3.5 horse race. I think the Phillies, barring some big injuries, I know right now they have Trey out for probably until like late June,
A
which
little
is a
bit, 10
loss.
weeks.
Yeah, I think 8 to 10 weeks or whatever. Because he's been their second best hitter behind the future MVP candidate Alec Boehm right now. Obviously, he's not going to hit that well all season, but if they can keep, they have the depth, they have the players to compete all season, and this is the first time since in the last 3 years where they've been relevant that they've actually had a good start. So I mean, barring some big injuries and like a big letdown, which I don't expect because of all the depth they have on the field, at the bat, and on the mound. I see them competing all season with the Braves, and the Braves are a great team. They're going to be there all season long. They're only going to get better with some of their arms coming back. I think their bats have been like way below what you expect from the Braves, and when they start clicking, they're going to be right up there with the Phillies again. I mean, they're only a couple, like, 3.5 games back anyway, and we're not even a quarter way through the season. So I expect the Braves to be back up there. I expect the Dodgers are inevitable. They're the best team in baseball for a reason. And then I think the Cubs are a sleeper team. I think they have a lot of guys coming back. Justin Steele just came back last week, I believe, and he's pitching really well, pretty well. Ben Brown is like a young player, 24 years old. He just got called up a few weeks ago. He's pitching relatively well for being a young player. And then Shota Imanaga has been like one of the stories of the season. He's got like a 108 ERA, like 1.08 ERA. And then Assad's pitching out of his mind for some reason. I don't know how. He doesn't have the great stuff that you would expect for someone warranting those numbers. And then I saw a stat on Imanaga the other day, actually. He has the number one rated pitch in baseball, and it is his fastball. It might have changed since then. But I watched him play, and he's like sits around like 93, 94. And I don't get it, but he just gets swing and miss stuff.
He paints.
He just paints, and he has that rise on the ball. Well, not actual rise, but he has that ride where hitters are used to that fastball naturally diving. His doesn't really do that. But yeah, I think it's going to be like a 3.5 horse race, and I think the Cubs are only going to get better. They have had a lot of their big bats not producing early. But other than that, it's a toss up. I mean, you said it. I mean, the Nats are in a playoff spot, I think, right now. So anything's possible, really, besides those four teams. But yeah, I mean, and the Cubs are also up there with oh my God, who are they up with the
Brewers.
NL?
Brewers.
The Brewers. The Brewers are pretty good too, but it's early, and I think the Cubs will run away with that division.
Anyone else?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely agree with the Cubs. I think the Cubs are going to be a wild card team. Their talent is just there. Cody Bellinger's having a great year back there. Um, can't discredit the Phillies at all. Really can't.
Mickey Mouse schedule, though.
True, it's true.
Still winning the games you're supposed to.
Yeah.
True. You gotta do that.
Mets didn't do that in 2022. And another team that I don't believe was mentioned was the Padres. I mean, we're going to talk about them a lot later, but that talent in that lineup, Dylan Cease throwing a one-hitter today, 12 strikeouts, just
nasty.
That top rotation, as we mentioned a few weeks ago when that Dylan Cease trade was happened, I just think that potential right there, just having that ace in the lineup in the rotation, along with the other top guys, is just gonna be hard to beat.
Good
No,
point.
I agree. Sorry, yeah, just off Connor's point too. Am I going to say this right? Imanaga?
Yeah,
you got it.
Imanaga's which is kind of crazy. You don't see this from a guy that throws. This is about his fastball. I think I might have found the article that you're talking about on MLB.com. He's only throws like 90, like you said, 92, 94, like sits 93, but like from such a low slot, his fastball is at 2,400 RPMs plus.
Nuts.
Like that's insane
That's
for a guy that throws that slow. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's a 99% efficiency.
which
Like
is
that's
absurd.
crazy.
Yeah.
And usually you see guys that have those kind of stats always have swing and miss stuff on their fastballs. Like just for example, because I know Zach Wheeler's a guy that has one of those. So one of those fastballs that has a great spin rate, high efficiency. But just going back to like the standings and everything, Obviously Phillies, Braves. One of those two is going to make they'll be the one seed, and one of them is going to make the wild card regardless. Same thing with Brewers and Cubs, but I don't know. I have this weird feeling about the Padres kind of shit in the bed for some
Ooh.
reason. Like I don't know if don't get me wrong, I don't know if they will just because of how kind of crappy the rest of the division is. But like, say Corbin Carroll starts to figure it out, the A's pick up a couple pieces at the deadline, like the Diamondbacks, sorry, pick up a couple pieces at the deadline. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they get above the Padres in like a wild card spot potentially. But I don't know. Just the Dodgers are obviously much better right now, so that's obviously kind of like we'll see. It's only like the second month of baseball, so like we don't know. But that's just what I'm kind of thinking. But
Curious of your guys' thoughts on the Giants, like as a whole.
I think. I mean, I don't think they're coming into the season. I didn't expect a whole lot from them to be honest. I mean, Logan Webb is obviously going to be a Cy Young candidate. As long as he's healthy, he's got great stuff. But you saw the series against the Phillies, like they're incredibly vulnerable. They don't have the bats, and I think that they're an aging roster overall. I do like Patrick Bailey as a player. I think he's going to be a future stud, switch hitting catcher who is a insane at stealing
dog
strikes, one of the best catchers at stealing strikes, which is that's like you should get your own war separate from D war just from stealing strikes. I know it's probably
for
incorporated
catchers, yeah.
somehow. You should have like a separate stat. Like I know it's probably in there somewhere, but I don't know if it's calculated correctly because I don't even know how they calculate that. But he is incredible at that, and he's a good hitter too. But other than that, I mean, I think Austin Slater is still. I think as of right now, I could be wrong. I think Austin Slater is still in that lineup, and he is god awful. So I just think that I don't think they did enough to improve the team and move the meter over the offseason. I just don't think I don't think they have the depth. I like that Hicks is like a starting pitcher. He's been great for them, but
Mhm.
like I don't see them really improving, especially we got better. I think there's just three better teams in the division anyway. So it's gonna be tough for them all season
Fair.
long unless they keep it. The only thing I can think of is they stay around 500 until the deadline and pick up a couple guys. That's the only thing I can think of.
Did you guys see there was like three catcher injuries that series against the Phillies from the
Yeah.
Giants? Like three of their catchers just
First
got hurt
three.
in like 2 days.
No, I did not even see that.
I didn't
Yeah.
even notice that. No.
No, I saw when I was watching Sunday Night Baseball, they were talking about it. There was just like they had to put a rookie in. He had his first home run, but let me get the exact number. But I saw a bunch got injured for the Giants.
Wait, did Bailey get
That's
hurt?
insane.
I barely got injured.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. I should have. That's crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
off that point too. I mean, like Matt Chapman isn't hitting, like you said. Austin Slater isn't hitting. Jorge Soler is struggling, even though he's hitting balls right at people sometimes. Like obviously, going to strike out at a crazy clip, but when he's hit the ball hard this year, it's just been like right at people.
Yeah.
So I know he's been frustrated. Like this, the whole lineup's kind of like shitting the bed. Malcolm Conforto's not hitting at all. He went off in like the
No,
first
it's
week,
not.
but like that's it. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to win games when those guys aren't hitting.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
most of your lineup's not hitting, like it's
Yeah.
impossible. It doesn't matter how good of a pitching staff you have.
The Giants seem to be able to make the most average roster every year.
Yeah.
And in 2021, somehow they were
Mhm.
able to
Disgusting.
win 107 games with,
Yeah.
I don't even know,
That's
the most mid roster of all time, but
It didn't make any sense that team.
made no sense.
I
But
think Ross Stripling was in that rotation.
yeah, we
Crazy.
gotta
You're
get moving
right.
on.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Luis Arraez trade to the Padres? Like how much does this help them? And
Big.
what do the Fish do now?
Cubs. Fish got a lot of problems. The Fish are sinking. When you have a general manager or the owner of the team say, "We're unlikely to make the playoffs this year" on May 4th.
Wild.
Absurd. I've never heard that before.
He's
I
right
mean,
though.
He's
you're
right.
He's right. You
Yeah.
hear
Might
that in
be,
football.
but
You hear that in football like week 4.
Yeah.
Like you don't
Yeah.
hear that in baseball in the first week of May.
Mm-mm.
I
Rarely.
think they're screwed. Last year was their first playoff berth in a full season since 2003. And I don't really know what happened. I mean, I know the Sandy Alcantara injury just really sunk them,
that
but
sucks.
he was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much fun to watch. Even though he diced with the Phillies, so much fun to watch.
Always hurts us, man.
Literally.
I think the Arraez trade was I'm going to use a quote from Major League Two when they traded Parkman. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but one of my favorite baseball
yeah.
movies ever. But basically, I think Arraez was making the other plays look bad because he was playing actually decent, hitting around 300. Obviously, no power stats to be mentioned, but he's up to a torrid start for San Diego, and he couldn't be a better fit right now. He's hitting almost 400. He's got like 375. I'm slashing 375, 412, and 438 with an OPS plus over 150, which you don't expect from him since he just does not get the ball in the air and just doesn't hit the ball hard whatsoever. But he's off to a great start with them. Obviously, he's not going to keep those numbers all season. Even though he did hit 350 last year, but I look at this as like, it was an early warning sign. Like basically Bendix is like, we got to get this guy off. Like we're not going to pay him regardless. They never pay big players anyway. Let's see what we can get at the beginning of the season while his value is still high. But I just saw something the other day. Bendix said basically on this trade, Bendix said the Marlins have a really, really strong group of analysts that felt the prospect package was more valuable than Arraez long term, which could be true. I didn't really look deep into prospects, but I don't know if they're that crazy. It's not like you're gonna get what you got for the other Nats got for Trey Turner and Scherzer, etc. But meanwhile, the Fish on First Marlins fan page on Twitter last week posted a screenshot of 4 analyst jobs on LinkedIn for the Marlins. So it's like, wait, you called out your team and said we have a really strong group of analysts. Meanwhile, you're actively in the middle of an MLB season looking for senior, not just junior. There are a couple junior analyst jobs they're looking for, but there is a senior analyst job they're looking for, which I find absolutely absurd in the middle of the season. I don't understand. I think Bendick, I think he's in over his head for a little bit here. But that's crazy to me. Absolutely absurd.
Get on that staff, Connor. Come on now.
I think Bendix did the right thing.
Yeah.
You got to pull the plug eventually. I know last year's Marlins team really outperformed what they were expected to. I think their Pythagorean win theorem was like 75 wins. They won a ton of one-run games. I don't think, especially with the pitching injuries they had a much of a chance to compete this year. So, pull the plug. You're 10-26.
Yeah.
Make a couple trades. Get started on another Marlins rebuild because I don't know, dude. You're never gonna compete with that ownership not willing to spend a dime.
Yeah, and then all they're doing is just adding Bendix, who came from the Rays, who are do the same thing. Even though they've had more success, they spend the same amount of money as the Marlins do. They refuse to sign big players. If you use the trade for big free agents or bigger players they would have to pay anyway. But they rely on the deep analytics, and obviously it hasn't paid off yet. But I mean, maybe his big group of analysts can pull this around and start trading some of their whatever big name players they have left for some big prospects that they have cooking up there. But yeah, I think it had to be done regardless. So
yeah.
But as a Marlins fan, like, how are you not pissed off?
They probably are pissed off.
I don't think
there's no fan base. There's no fan base down there. Like nobody cares.
They destroyed their fan base after 1997 when they won the World Series. They won a World Series and immediately tore down their core.
Yeah.
Who does that?
They literally ran. They got
who exactly did they trade? They traded who? They traded for?
They traded Sheffield. They traded Hader. They traded
Bobby Bonilla, Edgar Renteria, Bobby Bonilla.
They traded Renteria.
I think Bobby Bonilla was on the team now.
Yeah, he was. I don't think he was really part of that core. They traded
Moises Alou, yeah. But then they ran into one in 2003 and then did the same exact thing with Josh Beckett. Beckett won. I think he won the MVP in that
in the World Series.
And then the next year was just like, well, given the Boston, and then Boston went and won World Series. But David Sampson was a part of the 2003. He was a general manager, I believe, in 2003, and they just were notorious for just effing over that fan base and that new stadium, that ballpark that they made the fan base pay for, and they don't even go to the games. It's
been going on for 30 years. 30 years. It's been going on. Like, how the fuck do you even do that?
If you want,
and they got rid of the statue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do they call that? The home run dolphin thing?
Home run. It was like I got the exact name of it. It was awesome.
I mean, also think of all the good players that have been there. Not to go over time or anything, but like JT Realmuto, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, like all on the same
Marcelo
team.
Zuna.
Ozuna.
Good
Go
about
on.
it.
Yeah.
David Sampson said they asked him. I listened to this podcast, sports podcast down in Miami, and they're big, like they're Marlins fans. I'm big Marlins fans, but they have David Sampson on every once in a while, and they asked him like, "Where is that statue at?" And they're like, "He's like, Marlins still have it. They just didn't want it. They said it was an eyesore in center field, and people were complaining about it."
Wow.
Jeter got rid of it.
Yeah, it was Jeter. It was
Oh,
Jeter who jumped
fucking
in.
number
To your
2.
point,
Come
to your
on.
point,
No
Tom.
fun, no fun. Yankee Derek Jeter.
To your point, Tom. They did the same thing before that with getting rid of Miguel Cabrera, trading away Hanley
Yeah.
Ramirez, Dan
Mhm.
Ugla,
The kid.
Ugla.
Josh
Oh my
Johnson.
God.
Even though he kind
Okay.
of burnt out. before.
A-Rod.
They did not have A-Rod, bro.
Thinking the Marlins or Mariners, maybe.
Oh, Mariners. Yeah, I got that confused.
But they didn't
Second, my
trade
fault.
A-Rod.
teams,
A-Rod-
teams.
My
A-Rod-
fault. Cut
2M teams.
Yeah.
it out. Cut it out.
But yeah, disappointing. I don't know.
Expect it. Come to
Me
expect.
personally, I think I don't really value. This is crazy, maybe, but I don't think Arraez is that valuable.
No, I don't. I'm with you, there.
Dude, he's played
Me-
140 over 140 games the past 2 years and hit over 300 with almost
Yeah.
200 hits. And last year he had 200 hits.
I mean, he has to be a leadoff guy because he's not going to drive in. He's not.
No,
gonna
he's not a power guy.
does it-
He's got to be
but
one or
I'm-
two. Absolutely.
I'm a launch angle exit velo slut, and I don't. I mean, but I'm also a big OBP guy, and he gets on base, so he moves.
Does he's a valuable hitter? You can't
Yeah.
say he's not. He doesn't provide power, but he has no defensive value at
Yeah,
all.
he doesn't. He's
If
terrible.
he had defensive value, then you're like, that's a guy that I really like.
Yeah, he's just a
But-
terrible defender. They're gonna have to. I don't know if they're going to put him at freaking first base or
They're gonna
something.
DH him. They're gonna DH him.
Your DH is gonna have 5 home runs.
With
dude.
Manny,
And he's
with
going to have
Manny.
200 hits.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, come
That's
on.
true.
I think he fits for the Padres because they do have a decent
Yeah, they
amount
have
of
some
top
big-
bats, and
they
He
have
does. He fits perfectly over there.
Yeah, that lineup right at the top lineup right there.
Yep.
Profar as well in there. Yeah, he'll be
Profar.
fine right in there.
So I know the Marlins are going to sell. We know the Marlins are going to sell whatever they can. They don't really have much to sell, to be honest. But what other teams should be thinking about selling at this point in the season?
Oof.
We talked about it before. The Blue Jays.
preparing to sell.
I mean, we
The
talked
Blue
about
Jays we talked about a little bit.
yeah. I mean, the Blue Jays, they still have talent, but yeah, it's early though. It is also like
Mhm.
Blue Jays are a notorious franchise. They have bought in years past. They have a front office that likes to spend money. They were apparently close to signing Ohtani this summer. I don't know exactly how close, but there were big time rumors out there. So they have the reputation of being a franchise that likes to spend money, likes to bring in big free agents, or likes to bring in hired guns at the deadline. So I doubt, unless they get to like 10 plus games under 500, which I don't think either, because I think they still have a solid rotation, solid lineup, solid enough lineup that they can compete and at least get to the deadline around 500, where they will probably buy, which it seems like every year they're around 500. They always seem to be trading a prospect or trading someone who they don't value for a big name guy who they don't end up just dumping out anyway. Tulowitzki comes to mind a few years ago when they were like 3 games over 500, and they sold the house to get that guy and end up like
Yeah.
a wild card or something. So I don't think the Blue Jays will be sellers. For me, I mean,
Fuck me, I guess.
what? Oh, did you say Blue Jays?
Yeah, I did say Blue Jays. Fuck me, I
Oh,
guess.
I mean, I'm just going off of that.
We have
They
to
could
see.
be. I could be wrong though, Tom.
Yeah, they have to make some decisions.
Yeah, they
yeah,
can wait a little bit. I mean, like you say too, they can see how they are by like mid-June, July, but
Yeah.
it's obviously the AL East is just the powerhouse of
Yeah.
See,
pretty much baseball.
It'd be so
what,
tough.
what I think the Blue Jays should do is buy right now from a team like the White Sox. Try to improve right now, and then if you're still being terrible, then trade those pieces away again.
The White
Yeah.
Sox are already selling.
Yeah.
Yeah, the White
I
Sox said they're
Well, White Sox are
She's-
toast.
yeah. And the Rockies, I mean, the Rockies obviously going to sell. They've got
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna
they
I was
have
gonna mention
big
that.
players you would want. I mean, maybe a couple bullpen guys that they have are decent, like Lawrence. I'm surprised they didn't get rid of Lawrence last year. But yeah, I mean, there's some teams at the bottom of the barrel that I expect. I mean, they're probably selling soon. But like, what do the Pirates do?
hmm
Like, I don't. That's a big question mark. I mean, a lot of their players are younger, but I think and they just calling up Paul Skeens. That seems like it's like an early season, like trying to boost attendance for a few weeks, and if it works out, it works out.
I don't think the Pirates are sellers. They already signed up Brian
Yeah.
Hayes, like a couple other guys too. Like I don't
Kelly.
know if they're actually going to be sellers or not at
No,
this
they
point.
probably yeah. I mean,
They're
it's
gonna sell a couple pieces like
they
Chat.
might. If
Fair.
they
It's fair.
yeah, if they stay under 500, yeah, they might. But hey, you never know. They could catch a wave and get back
That
up.
fan base really wants it. I mean, I know that the team is there, especially with, I know it's stupid as it sounds, but like this Paul Skeens, like they're bought in. I mean, I know that's
They are bought in.
they are bought in. I
I
mean,
just
it
hope
would
it's not like a season ticket ploy, or not a season ticket ploy, but like a regular ticket ploy trying to get people to come out to the ballpark. Or
against the Cubs too. It's gonna be a great game. Four
that is gonna
o'clock
be
start.
awesome.
Ooh,
But like
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Cardinals, do they sell
Saturday.
their big pieces?
Saturday.
I feel like the Cardinals will sell their big pieces. Arenado, Goldschmidt. I mean Goldschmidt.
They
Who
can
wants
get
that
they can get
now?
a haul for Sonny Gray right now. I'll tell you that.
Oh
They
my
could, if
God,
they
yeah.
wanted to right now, they can get an absolute haul for Sonny Gray.
You know what? I'm gonna make a prediction. Sonny Gray to the Cubs, even though they are
Wow.
in the same
Cardinals
division.
fans will be pissed.
Hey, the Cubs have some younger players they can give up. They need
They
another
do.
arm. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs are gonna be big time buyers. Big
In
time.
division though, in
It
division
happens. It happens.
between
that
Happens
does
in the
happen. It's
East all the
crazy.
time.
Hey, if I'm a GM and I get if I get the return I'm looking for and it's an in division, I'm taking it. If they give me the best offer for that for Sonny Gray, because what are the Cardinals doing with Sonny Gray, other after this season? Like he's getting a big deal. Like he's what? How was he
He
like?
got the deal, right? He got a big
Yeah,
deal.
did he get paid last season? Yeah. Like what are they going
Yeah.
to do with him now? Like
I don't
they're
think the
Yeah,
Cardinals.
he got a big deal. I
yeah.
don't think they'll trade him. He got 75 million for 3 years.
Ah, damn.
Realistically,
Sonny
I
Gray's
know they,
34 too.
Yeah,
yeah,
too.
but
I don't see the Cardinals tearing something down. I feel like that franchise has too much pride.
we've
That
That
talked
might be
about
their
this.
downfall. That might
Dude,
be
it's
I
bullshit
hope it is
pride.
their downfall. I hate the
It's
Cardinals.
bullshit
I do
pride.
too. Oh, you're still the 2006 ghosts.
Ghost.
I don't blame you. I mean, I'm not a big fan of their franchise either. I hate to say that I don't like them because of their success, but I do. I mean, and they took down one of my favorite Phillies teams of all time in 2011. But
Mm.
like, they have been such a good team the last 25, 30 years. Where now it's so weird seeing them not in the top of the NL.
Yeah.
And seeing them have so many struggles because watching Paul Goldschmidt at the plate lately has been
Oh my God.
it's
Oh
been
my God.
sad. It's been sad seeing seeing how he's just kind of crumbled. It could be just early season woes too, but I mean, I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't be surprised if Arenado and Goldschmidt go somewhere else. I wouldn't be at all.
But who would want Goldschmidt right now?
They're old
Hey.
too.
He can always turn it on now. Goldschmidt's, I mean, he's a former MVP.
MVP 2022, he won MVP.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
he looked pretty bad last year too.
Yeah, but he could turn it. I mean, he was pretty
And-
bad last year.
I mean, Arenado doesn't look that bad, but
He still has value.
the glove has lost some value.
Well, yeah.
Oh
He
yeah,
made some errors on routine plays. I'm
Yeah.
like, is that Nolan Arenado? Like,
Yeah.
does not look like
Goldschmidt-
Nolan.
He's a long way away from the Colorado Rockies. Nolan Arenado, we
Oh
remember.
my God, yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
Goldschmidt
what?
turns 37 this
Yeah,
year.
Goldie's just
This season.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He could be
37.
He's gonna be a free agent too.
I would
Is he
not be
really?
surprised. And he's at the end of his deal. I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah, he
Starts
might
hitting.
go. He might go.
he'll be like a platoon guy that like we're facing a lefty today. Paul, please just give me a
Mhm.
bomb. That's all I need you to do. Swing for the fence. I don't care if you strike
All
out.
we-
I
Like,
mean, one
surprised.
guy, real quick before we go, one guy, I know Connor mentioned the Rockies earlier. Nolan Jones is going to get traded. That's my
he's been
take.
terrible, man. He's been terrible.
I
But he has a lot
know,
of
but
value. He has a
teams
lot of
will.
value. He was good
it's
last
just-
year too.
He had a really good year last year. I just still think his
Yeah.
potential out there.
Nolan Jones, we beat you 2 years in a row in the he actually played against us in high school. Beat
Oh,
you.
really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's
Yeah.
move on to our next topic.
He's still a
here.
good player though. Sorry, Will. Sorry, Will.
So Shohei Ohtani is the best hitter ever.
I don't think there's a question mark.
Period.
That's
He is
crazy
the best
thing.
hitter ever.
Am I crazy to say that? I don't think it's
No.
that big of a question.
I
He's
love how people were
third.
so angry that he got paid a lot of money.
Dude, he's the best player in the league. If he could, honestly, and this might be crazy to say too, but like maybe not pitching is like allowing him to completely put all of his effort and energy into hitting.
He was doing it last year, though. I mean, I
Yeah,
know.
these are like over the top. I know it's early, and he's probably he's not going to have a OPS plus over 200 all year, but
No.
he's been absolutely crushing the ball, dude. Crushing the ball.
Oh yeah, he's right now. Yeah, leading baseball, 370 average, best in baseball, most in baseball in hits. Behind him, Mookie Betts,
Yeah, yeah. Mookie Betts is
most in home runs. If you guys saw the home run from 2 days ago when Joe Davis said, "Sound like a shotgun," it
No,
was
Dude,
Joe
absolutely
Davis is the
electric
best in the
call.
business for a
Oh my
reason.
God, yeah. I mean that call was
that's what it
just
sounded like.
it
Yeah,
was
it did
it was
sound like that.
it did, and the way it was just oh my gosh.
It was nuts, dude. He is. I don't think I'm like. I don't even think it's crazy to say like he probably win the MVP. Like he's
Yeah.
absurd.
I don't
He.
know. Is he even the MVP on his own team?
Yes.
Oof. I mean
Right
that's
now,
true.
yeah.
Mookie is great too. I mean Mookie's a great fielder, and obviously
Mookie moved from shortstop from
yeah,
outfield to second base to shortstop out of
Mookie's a
team
freak.
necessity.
He's a freak, dude. He's a freak.
He
Mookie.
is the most. Sorry, Demetrius, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like I remember Red Sox days where all my friends would play on the show and just move him to second base. And they're like, "Why are you
Yeah,
putting him at second base?" It's like, dude, he could play here.
he could play anywhere. He's absurd. He can
He is
bowl.
the most valuable player on that team right now since Ohtani's
Professional
not
bowler
pitching.
too. I think
Yeah.
he's nuts.
Yeah,
He's an athlete. He is one of he's it's I don't want to say he's one of the like he's right up there with Ohtani is like one of the most like
he's
incredible
only
players
31.
we've
This is
seen
nuts. This is
in the
nuts. He's
past, dude.
31.
But Ohtani already has a over 2.5 WAR. Obviously, he hasn't really done a lot on defense, but over 2.5 WAR, and we're not even a quarter way in the season. That's just offense. Nuts. So I mean, putting that
Did
into
they sweep Atlanta?
did
Yeah,
they?
they swept
Yeah, they did.
Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean,
But
Jesus.
that team's nasty.
that he's on pace for 11 WAR without playing defense or pitching.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the thing I was gonna say.
Exactly.
Fucking
Yeah,
insane.
no defensive
Yeah.
pitching is just absurd.
I mean, he has a 1.13 OPS. He's got already have 11 home runs, 27 ribbies, and like I said, already has not already, but he has an over 200 OPS plus, which is
Bro.
absurd. He had a
Um,
188 OPS plus last year, so it's like it's not even out of the. I know it's crazy, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. He could have over close to 200 OPS plus.
his stretch from May 4th to May 6th, he had 4 home runs, 7 RBIs in 3 games.
Dude,
Like
And 4 stolen bases.
crazy.
he had 4.
I,
Oh my God.
would it surprise
Two
you
or
guys
two or
if-
four in the past. In one of these games, he's
Yeah.
had 4 stolen bases in the past like 5
when
games.
he was
Okay.
nuts.
Is it crazy to say that Shohei Ohtani is probably going to be the best player that ever lived?
No,
Is that
no.
crazy?
No, it's not crazy.
No.
What do
In
you
our-
do? You
in
think
our-
it's crazy?
in our
Will?
lifetime?
What's
I
that?
I mean, I don't think anyone's ever going to reach that peak
Of what?
of what he's doing right now. I
Oh.
mean, let's say he comes back and pitches next year, right?
Is he even?
And he's
Has he
still
even,
a top
has he
10
even
pitcher.
throwing or has he started throwing or something? I saw something
He's
on that too. Like,
rehabbing. He's
I wouldn't
rehabbing.
be surprised.
Let's say next year he comes back and he's a top 10 pitcher and he's still the best hitter in baseball,
Best
putting
player.
up similar stats to right now.
He's
I
gonna be the
don't-
best.
He's going to
He's-
have like a 20 WAR.
yeah,
This is a
it's
player like I know we said it about Trout. He's like once in a lifetime player, but Shohei is truly like this is like a once in a generation, once in 3 generation type player where you don't see it. I'm alive for this. Like it's crazy being able to watch this guy. Like we're gonna like 20, 30 years down the line, we're gonna be look back and like that guy was insane. I mean, maybe who knows? Maybe down back like at that time, everyone would be playing 2 positions or pitching and hitting. I don't know.
I do
Dude, that's
think in the
so
next 10
hard.
years there will be like 3 guys or 4 guys consistently in
It's
it.
I don't
possible.
know.
It's
I don't
possible.
Dude,
think
they
so.
almost didn't let Shohei do it. They almost
They
didn't let
almost
him
did
do
it,
it.
yeah. But then he came out throwing 99 with that splitter, and they're like,
They're like,
"Okay."
All right,
He's
so
like he was on the Angels at the time. If he was on
Yeah.
any other team that was competing or going to
That's
well,
true.
he wouldn't have
They would
pitched.
have probably just
Or
told
hit.
him to hit or whatever.
Whatever
Yeah,
one.
it's true.
Right. We have about 10 minutes left. I really wanted to get to this last
Oh,
topic point, and that is
Go on.
Aaron Judge's Hall of Fame case. This is something that we're going to start doing every week, like a one Hall of Fame case for a player at the end of every episode.
Hmm.
So let's look at Aaron Judge's career so far, and I want to hear from all of you whether you think he's going to be a Hall of Famer or deserves to be in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done.
I mean, if his career ended right now, he's not a Hall of Famer, and I don't think
Well, yeah.
it,
Yeah, nobody's going to disagree with that.
there might be some people you never know, but yeah, I mean, I've already said it on the pod a couple of times. Like I look for 5+ seasons of Hall of Fame numbers at the specific position that they played most of their games at, and obviously he plays outfield, right center. He plays basically everywhere in the outfield. But you expect big power numbers, and he's delivered that for the most part. But obviously injuries has hindered him. Like he's had some big seasons. Like after 2017, you expected, that level of production pretty much every year. And he could have done that, but he only played like 110 games like the next 2 seasons. So, the injuries have really hurt him. And now you got another big injury. And you're wondering, like, with the stats right now, obviously he can get hot at any time, but we've talked about it before that foot injury can be a big issue. And for me right now, if he can stay healthy, sure, easy Hall of Famer, easy. But can he stay healthy? He has not shown that.
I mean, just to your point, Connor, of the 5 seasons of Hall of Fame numbers, what I'm looking at right now, he's got four.
Yeah, he's close. He's definitely
He's
close.
got four at 32.
Three are locks. Three are locks.
Yeah,
I can give you four. I can give you four.
yeah. I mean, you can get 2023. Discounting that injury,
Yeah.
he's hitting 60 home runs.
Oh, if it didn't get hurt, yeah, that's an easy one. But that's
Yeah.
like
Even then,
durability is
37 home runs in 100 games.
Yeah.
That's
that's nuts.
like, it's nuts.
But he's still
Like,
getting hurt.
He's still getting hurt. He's still getting hurt.
But that's
He's
the thing. Durability is a big part of, biggest part of, being on a team is you gotta play the games. And if you can't play the games, I'm sorry, you have to be, you have to be doxxed for that. Or not doxxed.
Jacob deGrom.
Do you imagine?
I mean, doesn't have very impressive postseason stats either. I know we're talking about his Hall of Fame career,
Yeah.
but like just postseason wise, he's only a 211 postseason hitter with 13 home runs and what is it? Plate appearances, only 198 plate appearances.
Yeah.
Well, 171 at bat. Sorry, with only 13 home runs and bat 211. Like that's
not good.
That's not good. He's made a lot of he's got a lot of postseason games under his belt. Like let's be honest here. Like I know that doesn't define your Hall of Fame thing, but like it's tough.
But I will say this though. It will hinder him if he never wins a World Series. It will hinder him if he never wins a World Series.
3-time Silver Slugger, 5-time All-Star, Player of the Year, Home Run Derby champ, Rookie of the Year, MVP. Like that's pretty decent.
It is absurd.
I mean, he's another once in a lifetime kind of talent. I know I've said it now like about three players in the last couple of weeks, but like truly he is. Like even though I'm not a Yankees fan, but like you have to appreciate the greatness. And when he is healthy and shooting on all cylinders, he's knocking the ball out of everywhere. Not just I know Yankee Stadium helps, of course, but he's knocking the ball out everywhere. That guy's he's a moose. He's gigantic, but he still gets the bat all over the place.
He's a polar bear, bro. Sorry, Lonzo, you're not a polar bear no more.
And he's a great fielder when he's healthy too. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He takes up
He does
all
do
the
a good
space
job in the
outfield.
field.
You basically only need two outfielders out there because he does long strides. He can get from like center field to the right field line in like a second. So I mean, he's a all around great player.
He said phenomenal fielding stats. I didn't realize that.
I have an interesting question because I'm of the belief that if Giancarlo Stanton gets to 500 home runs, then he's a Hall of Famer. But Judge, to me, is the better player.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think if Giancarlo Stanton gets 500 home runs, he's going in.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the voter. Now, personally, I'm not, like I said, I'm a five plus season guy. And I don't know if Stanton has. I mean, he's close. He's probably close.
Let me go.
The thing about like counting up stats is like I think that enables the compiler stat, and I'm not big on compilers. Like I need you to see like give me your prime, give me your best seasons, and if you have 5+ seasons, boom, you're in. It's easy. But like there probably are some voters where as soon as you get 500 home runs, don't care what your other stats are, don't care how you play the rest of your career, you're in. Like I mean, I'm sure there are voters like that. So I mean, you could have a gripe there.
I mean, his career batting average is 259, but he has less than 1,500 hits.
Yeah, he's just
crazy.
a power guy.
Right? Like
he's a launch angle exit velo guy. That's what he is.
Dude, him on the Marlins in like 2010 to like when did he get traded from the Marlins? Like that, he was
the 2014, 2015 season.
After the pod, everyone just look at the 2017 Stanton stats on them fish.
Yeah, I see it right now.
Ridiculous, dude.
Judge doesn't even have 1,000 hits yet.
Yeah,
he's already at 43.
Oh, wow.
And that's the problem is like it's just the durability. Like if he stayed healthy, I mean, he's a lock. He probably have like.
How does Aaron Judge have 1,000 hits? What?
No, he doesn't have 1,000 hits.
It's crazy. But he always have 40+ more
players that you can even comp him to. Like, who can you?
Stanton or Judge?
Judge to?
Stanton?
Yeah. There's not many.
No, that's that with that size of him.
I think that's the difference. It's like he's a NFL tight end playing baseball. Like like him and the Marlins home run derby that he was in at the Marlins stadium. Like I think that was either like our sophomore year in college. I don't know, Will, if you remember, but like, dude, everybody was glued to the TV to watch Aaron Judge.
Right.
Everybody was
that
like, I know he's
2017,
not maybe
yeah.
not a Hall of Fame player like that, and I don't really know a comp, but like he's a generational player in the way he impacts everybody. Like he kind of
Yeah.
changed that whole launch angle. He kind of like jump started the whole launch angle thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
without a
I'm
doubt.
trying to look at like um so here's an interesting one. I'll throw out Roger Maris, right?
Yeah,
Not a Hall
big
of Fame player, but at the current moment, he has similar stats to Judge. Plus, he had that same, record-breaking season, right?
Yeah.
38 WAR, 1,300 hits, 275 home runs, which is pretty much exactly where Judge is right now, and he's not a Hall of Famer. Similar type of season.
Wow,
So
he only played 12 years. That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking Judge needs to get like 3 or 4 more seasons of
Yeah.
very good but baseball.
Yeah, definitely. And then
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets to the 5+ seasons, and by my parameters, he'd be in. And he could get that this season if he turns things around. But that's the thing. You got to stay healthy. You got to be able to play and play at your best. And that's the big knock on him. And also, if he stayed with the A's and signed with them, he'd be a Hall of Famer already in my eyes. But that's a story for a different day.
Yeah, he's gonna go out there to Sacramento to hit homers for John Fisher.
They would have sold him for a
Wanted him.
sack of
Said he
potatoes.
wanted it.
Yeah, yeah. They would have sold him for a sack of potatoes.
Yeah. All right. So we're done here for today. It was a good pod.
Great pod.
Be back next week. Later.
Peace,
Yeah.
fellas.
Peace.